Alright, what's up everybody? Here's another episode of The Source Wall with your boy Kojay and 44. We're talking Snyder Cut. A whole bunch of stuff happened today.
Yeah, decent amount of stuff, you
Yeah,
know.
it is Tuesday, January 14th of this recording. Probably be out tomorrow, but yeah. What time
So
was it for
worst,
you when he posted? Oh, sorry, go on.
I would say it was like around 6, I think. I wasn't really looking at the time,
Mm. Yeah, I
but I
remember I
feel
was
like
at
it was
work when I
somewhere
saw it
around
happen.
there.
Yeah. I think it was Yeah, that's about the right time. I was in my office and I was just checking my phone out of curiosity, and it was like one of the first things I saw. He posted like 15 minutes prior to when I checked that he posted this uh, picture of Flash. No, of Darkseid, who leading the battle.
Kojay getting complete kablubled already.
I'm getting discombobulated. All right, you talk.
Well, yeah, he showed a picture. He posted a picture of Darkseid up close during the history lesson. You know,
hmm
kicking ass, taking names, and all that good shit. And it was pretty interesting. And from what it seems like there was definitely a model swap going on because he seems to be doing the same swipe motion that Steppenwolf does in a split second in Justice League, the Justice League version, you know. So
Yeah.
and there was hella parademons around, and I can say there's probably more parademons around Darkseid in the pic that Snyder showed than there was even I'm pretty sure maybe in that they actually showed in action. You feel me? Especially in that type of shot. For me in Justice League.
Mm.
So not only do we get to really see I guess quote unquote Uxas, his apocalypse army. You feel me? Going
Mm.
up against the tribes of man and the gods and probably the Green Lanterns. We don't really know who's on the side of Earth right now as far as when it comes to Zack Snyder's Justice League, but
Well, I
there's
did see
one
in
thing.
another picture that they had African warriors like Shaka Zulu style, and then they had
Oh yeah,
samurai
we didn't.
warriors.
Yeah, there's that. But I mean, as far as if there's any other mystical characters or any other
Hmm.
legions, Atlanteans, Amazons, tribes of men,
Maybe other
there could be
gods.
there could be more. We don't know. But he
Yeah.
also references Darkseid going up against Ares in this moment that we are seeing. So this pretty much verifies, what everyone's been saying for a while that Darkseid actually fights Ares, and there's a whole big battle scene of fight scene of with Darkseid and Ares. I don't remember who they said actually ended up coming out victorious in this,
Hmm.
but pretty
Which is
much this is this
and
is this is the idea that we're getting from what the image that Snyder just gave us.
hmm yeah. Looking back at the history lesson we saw in Justice League, I can totally see the computer movement model rendering or movement that you could replace any character with a movement thing. They let you do it in video games when you custom create your own endings. In like Dynasty Warriors, like the motions are the same. You just swap out the characters and they do the exact same thing every time. And I could see them doing that with Steppenwolf and Darkseid, Uxas or Uxas, and the movement looks like definitely Darkseid wielding his axe the same way Steppenwolf did and all that. So and then with the ring that went joo joo joo, that looks like totally you could have it in reverse where it's a red laser going choo 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 hitting someone. So uh,
Yeah,
that's another myth by the negative ones who said no, it's not Dark Side. It is. Boom, right there. Zach squashes another misconception that he hinted at us. He told us about it that it's Dark Side, and that's another win for us, and that's huge.
yeah, yeah. He also told us that in the trailer, um, He revealed who the voice was that was talk that said no Kryptonians or lanterns here, and he verifies that it is actually Steppenwolf. And he actually also verifies that yes,
Mm-hmm.
he is talking to Desaad. Because why wouldn't he be? Unless he was talking to directly to Darkseid, but why would Darkseid talk to him and he can just have some one of his minions talk to him?
Yeah, that's how
And it
huge
not only
emperors
means
do.
that, it turns out to be his main minion,
Mm-hmm.
Desaad, the minion of all minions. He's a priest though, but you feel what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, he's like a shadow priest, like the to Shao Kahn. Desaad is the dark
Yeah,
side. The shadow priests, they're
exactly.
servants, but
That's a
they know
great
shit,
way to put it.
and they got a lot
He
of
he's
power.
like a Shao Kahn, and
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna people say, oh, you're gonna give him like man them as much stain as Shao Kahn. Like yeah, because you feel me. The side can fuck you up if if you're not you feel me what I mean about your shit. He's an evil motherfucker. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's not nice at all. Like he's worse than Steppenwolf. I feel.
Oh yeah, he's
He's the one.
creating the
He's the one.
parademons.
Yeah, exactly. He's the one doing all these experiments and putting all this, putting this whole hellscape together on Apocalypse for the most part. All the
Mm-hmm.
inventions and evil technologies and you feel me archetypal weapons that they be using. The Saw comes up with a lot of that shit. So that was another interesting thing that he brought up, which is good to know.
Hell yeah. And yeah, you mentioned that in the comments. Now, when Zach posts something on Vero, it goes viral on Vero, and everyone's like posting, posting, posting. He even replied to me in the emojis, give me a bunch of strong arms saying, stay strong. Because that made someone's like, dang, it's hard waiting, but, I'm looking forward to it. Something like that, right? And then, even to look back on that, the chat or the comments would keep uploading, and it kept pushing it down. It was just like, dang, this is fire. A lot of people want it. Because for people to be huge on Vero, which is definitely not a popular app in comparison to Twitter, to have people spam and go crazy on that speaks in volume because you gotta go out of your way to get into an unpopular app just to be close to Zack Snyder and the Scoop. So really, those numbers, if equivalent to Twitter, they're actually a lot bigger. You know, as far as
Mm.
ratio wise, as far as importance, and
Yeah, one thing people have to understand is that for every person that you see on Twitter, repping the Snyder Cut and going for it, going hard for it constantly, there could be 10, 20, maybe even 30 people, you feel me, that feel the same way that person does, but it's just not taking action.
yeah, they're just
You always
casual
get,
about it.
yeah, you always gotta keep that in mind that there are people that feel like there are sidelines and they are waiting on them. You feel me?
Hmm.
Like,
It's
and there
almost
are
like,
people that just get their info off from the news or from the internet or just from YouTube, and they don't follow it anywhere near as closely as maybe you do or me and Kojay do. You know, so
exactly.
he always remembered that those people, are on your side. Those people are the silent, majority. You feel me? When you feel like there may not be too many of us. You feel me? Even though less is more in a lot of senses, but always remember that there is people backing you up when it comes to this. Like for every time, for every person you see that's pushing this shit, there's definitely 10 to 20 people that will buy the Snyder Cut. You feel me? Just because, and it shows just off every person that's constantly talking about the Snyder Cut. So, like, there's 100,000 of us constantly talking about the Snyder Cut or talking about it to get enough online. Then you can maybe even say there's a million people. You feel me? That be
Hmm.
willing to spend some money on this shit. You feel me? Like, and it's like 900,000 of them just aren't on Twitter saying shit about it. They're just living their lives.
Right. And it's interesting because uh, there are casual fans who rally behind the I don't want to say dedicated, like to put a difference, but the people who are extra passionate about it who are on it, like you and me. It's like for every you and me there's a bunch of also passionate people. They're just casual. They're just like vicariously fighting through us, and they just support what we do, and they're definitely gonna drop some money and buy that themselves. So it's like uh, not cheerleaders, but it's like supporters. People are like, yeah, thanks, you're speaking for me. Because some of them have reached out, and people I don't even remember seeing post anything, because it's like, whoa, what is this name? Oh, whoa, they follow me. Who is this? And then they just say something, hey, man, I'm really a fan of everything you say. I hope the Snyder Cut comes out, and keep fighting, man. I follow you. I like it. And they haven't even said anything. But I know there's a lot of people like that. And I see it on the other social medias too, so it's cool. And yeah, there's no way to count that. The casual fan. The casual fan who buys the movie and then watches it religiously like every day. I guess that's what's cool about streaming services is you can see that hit. But there's a lot of people who keep stuff on replay. And when I was at the No Hate campaign on Saturday, I took part in that. I brought my Snyder Cut hat, and they took pictures with it. So a million of those people are going to see that too. And they're all asking me, hey, what's Snyder Cut? And I told them. About Ezra Miller, The Flash, and all that, and they were so hyped. They're like, dang, that's cool. And then even they said, they're like, yeah, we're kind of not feeling it. They always cast a straight guy or straight girl to play an LGBT character. LGBT character. There you go. I said all the letters. And they don't feel like they're being represented. But to see an actor who's LGBT and he gets casted to play like just a regular character, not even trying to force any stereotype, they were stoked on it, and they were hoping that they'd see. I got that pretty much. I made some Snyder Cut fans over there just by talking, amping them up about it, and they're hyped for it when it comes out because they're like, hey, he's gonna be cool. He's gonna be a badass.
Yeah, I feel that. I get exactly what you mean by that.
And
I
they're
do.
casual fans, but yeah, they're for it. There's a bunch of them right
Because
there.
people have to understand, I mean, if you are LGBT, that I know it feels good that, to have surface value representation and
Mhm.
everything, but, what really matters more is if, the people in your community, quote unquote community,
Mhm.
however, I don't know, however they phrase it, but
Right. Right.
are being supported, because if they're just putting a whole bunch of token gay characters on TV, that's cool and all and everything, but
But people feel token,
but if they're not casting, gay actors in quality roles, you
Mhm.
feel what I mean? That shows them shine beyond their gayness. Then does it really matter how many token gay characters are on TV?
Right.
And that goes for every form of representation when it comes to entertainment and Hollywood. Because even being black and everything, I feel like even nowadays in the modern age, like our representation is clouded under other representation. You feel what I
Mm.
mean? So
Kind of like how they want to see you as, instead
yeah,
of how you are.
yeah, exactly. So I understand the struggle of actually having
Mhm.
proper representation in almost all forms of media. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh hell
and
yeah.
people may even come at my neck. You feel what I mean for even being against so many black characters on TV being gay. But you feel me? But the only reason why I feel that way and I'm against that is because as a black person, I know in real life it's not fucking like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Especially in the black community. You feel what I mean? Black community is only like 15% of the population. We definitely don't have we don't have that number. You feel what I mean? Of gay people running around where almost every character on TV that's black has to be gay. You feel me? Or gay adjacent. You feel what I mean? It's not
Mm.
that necessary compared to you feel what I mean? White America and their size, where I think they're at like 40% or something. You feel me? Around
Mm.
there, it makes more sense. And then when you watch white shows with gay characters, and especially white gay characters, the way they do it, it does make more sense. You feel what I mean?
Mhm.
Than representation. They show the broader spectrum of white society of what different types of white people are and white characters can be. There could be the masculine white male guy, the pretty prissy blonde girl character, you feel what I mean? The edgy girl character, the edgy guy character, you feel what I mean? And they'll all
Yeah.
be white. You feel me? And then they'll have the gay guy character or the gay girl character. And they'll all be diverse in different personalities, different walks of life. You feel what I mean? That makes sense. You feel what I mean? When I'm watching TV and you feel me, and I'm seeing shows that are supposed to be, you feel what I mean, from what they say, conservative in nature, and you feel me, supposed to actually make sense as far as the narrative. You feel me? And you can use the same template. You feel what I mean? You feel me? Masculine white male character. You feel me? Pretty blonde girl character, edgy white girl character, edgy white guy character. And then out of nowhere, they just straight throw in some black guy and be like, oh, he's gay. Here's the gay black guy, and it's like, huh? That doesn't really it doesn't add up. And it'd be different if it's just one show. But I'm not gonna shit on any shows because I don't know what shows people like. But I can count like 10 fucking shows, and well, 2 of them are movies where this has happened. Where I'm like, all right, this is definitely an agenda here where they're just going out of their way just to like represent black people however they want. You feel what I mean? Like the normal black person on TV doesn't even exist anymore, the way I see it. So even I was watching the show Daybreak. I think I told you about that. I was watching the show Daybreak. Me and my friend were watching it, and it was a pretty good and pretty funny show when it started out and everything too. And we're watching the show. I think it was like episode 2 or 3. You know, the black guy with the sword. You feel what I mean? Not only does he reveal he's a pacifist, I think like episode 2, you feel me? So he has the sword, but he doesn't do anything. But by like episode 3, we're both watching it, and he just reveals that he's gay, like out of nowhere, just mad randomly, like on some passive shit, like, oh, everybody knows I'm gay. We're all both like, wait, what? You're gay? Like this character has no signs of being gay. Like, and I guess that's supposed to be the twist or something, but it's like he has so no signs of it that it's like it's clearly just came off like some shoehorn shit. Like, you feel me? It's like, all right, you clearly could have just had this dude be, a regular black dude character. Like, you feel what I mean? And then you just threw the gay thing on him just for no reason, and it doesn't really even represent it right. You feel me? Who knows if the actor is gay in real life? I don't know. You feel me?
See,
That could be a whole different story, but
yeah,
they
like,
even the way they handle it sometimes just kind of like the way they handled it in that show just kind of shows how little they actually care about the damn subject. Like, you feel what I mean? Like, it's like, all right, we have a black character here. Well, we need extra representation. Make him gay too. And they do that with black female characters too. Like, oh, we need some double representation too over here. So, like, I do understand, proper representation does matter. And that's why, we do need more, you feel what I mean, talented black filmmakers behind the scenes that are also not pushing agendas too. You feel what I mean? So we can actually get some proper representation in black films like we used to have kind of in the late 90s and the early 2000s before shit kind of went to shit when it came to that front. But that's a whole different conversation. You feel me? Like,
no,
black Hollywood falling off has really nothing to do with the Snyder Cut, but
right.
right.
Maybe, but
Yeah, maybe in some senses, but
yeah,
it's definitely connected.
yeah. And what you say, I feel is right because is accurate, I should say, because a few times in castings, I asked my boss, I was like, "Yo, why aren't some of these characters we could think of like as this ethnicity from the beginning or not? Why are we assuming they're just this one?" And they're told I just got a weird no answer, right? And then next day comes, we're casting some kind of a judge, and they don't know how to pick the judge. They're all just okay actors. They're kind of whatever. And then a black actor comes in, and then he auditions for it, and it's like, whoa, we didn't say white or black, but and then the casting director, they're all like, hey, well, we didn't even really think about any diversity. Why don't we just cast this guy? So then we'll nail that on the head. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But it's like so last minute, so afterthought. And
Wow.
that's when I see the shoehorn thing. And then when I kept asking about diversity, they're like, okay, we just gotta let you know, we have to stick to the default. They said that. And that we make films for white people. I was like, for real? I was like, yeah. And I was like, dang. Obviously, I didn't get much work in Hollywood because I kept asking questions like that, and people started ghosting me after a while. But I don't regret that. But that's the type of stuff I would run into regularly. So when I see kind of last minute decisions. It's like I don't know if you saw The Shield, but they had a gay black guy there, and I thought they did that right because he was who he was from the beginning. There was no U-turn or drastic change last minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the Shield came out a minute ago though. That was before all this bullshit really started.
Mm-hmm. See,
Like,
that was something that really put some thought into all the characters, though. You know, it was very character driven, and they took that seriously. It wasn't gimmickly driven, and I think that's a big difference. Some shows are made in the sense of just to be a gimmick, to do a check mark of like,
yeah,
okay, we got this, and then we give it to people, see what happens, and then
I'd say that
whatever.
the best way you can usually most of the time rate movies or TV shows is, how they treat their black characters. Like, whether people would like to accept it or not. You feel what I mean? You know, the bottom line of racism starts with black people. You feel what I mean? That's also what, you feel me, what white supremacy is built upon. Like, people think that white supremacy is kind of even built upon, like, oh yeah, white people are the shit and we hate all people, or, you feel what I mean, that aren't us. Like, no, the core of that is actually, you feel what I mean, we hate the black people the most first. Because they're the ones that can really fuck up our whole, you feel what I mean, genocidal scheme that we have going on here, and our whole stupid ass philosophy that we know is bullshit, but we're gonna push on you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Hollywood actually presents that truth in a beautiful fashion. You feel me? Because you can even watch even great shows like on HBO and everything. Like, I'll start a random show like Deadwood. You feel me? Watch a girl show like Deadwood and everything. And like I say, base it on how they treat their black characters. You feel what I mean? Like, because a lot of people are different races and different backgrounds. You feel me? Sometimes people don't see offense unless it's offense of on the person that has the same face as you.
Mm-hmm.
So the show Deadwood, great show. What it is, you feel what I mean? There's a character on the show literally called Nigger General. For one thing,
Wow,
off
for
rip,
real?
that is just ridiculous. And mind you, this show is based back in the day, so it's like you can use
Oh,
that as
okay.
an excuse. You can use it as an excuse, but you also got
But
to
the
keep in
physically
mind that
churn.
people right now, you got to keep it simple. You got to keep in
Yeah,
mind that people write this stuff. This shit is not just pulled out
that's what I'm
someone's
saying.
ass.
Someone had to think
Someone
that
thought
up.
of this and said that, you know what, Nigger General would be a great name for this black character. All right. So that's fine though. You want to name him Nigger General? Or why not? You feel me? We can also ignore the fact that he's a complete oaf. But there's also another character, another black character named Haas Stickler, who they kind of play up like a tough guy. You feel what I mean? That, that's like, he's trying to he's trying to stand up to the white man, so to speak. Not really, but he's trying to take care of himself. Keep his little business going, and he doesn't care what all the other settlers think about him. Like I said, it was the Westerner shows back in the day. You feel me? They had
Mm.
this whole storyline of this guy, I think, getting into this whole situation with the horse that killed the sheriff's son, and you feel what I mean? And they were actually gonna forgive the dude for it and everything, from what I remember. Like, and the other crazy racist guy that he had the problem with, I guess he starts to try to form a lynch mob that really didn't form them much. But either way, by the end of the episode, it might have stretched over 2 episodes. But either way, by the end of the arc, I should say, you feel me? Hot Stickler gets into some argument with, I think, and Nigger General's there too, and he gets into some argument, and I think he thinks that they're coming to get him or something. Like, I don't know what he thinks, but it was a whole stupid scene. You should just go watch it. It's so dumb. Either way, by the end of it, he decides to just shoot himself in the face, like,
What?
and kills himself just for no reason. Like, you would have think that this would be a good moment if somebody was going to get him, that he would go out with a bang and actually try to stand up for himself. And you feel me? Like, no. Like, Nigger General just goes outside the shack to go check to see what's going on, and then he just hears, and then it's like a real they really did a real, like, turnaround on you and try to, like, it was a twist, like, because Hot Sticker is like, all right, I've had enough of this. Da, 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 and he makes it seem like he's about to go get a shotgun and come outside with the general.
Wow.
But instead, he goes to get a shotgun and he just shoots himself in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, all right. So, like I said, great show and everything, but the characterization of those characters are fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. And this is an HBO show, mind you.
Dang.
It's an HBO show.
Wow.
So, trust me, I know and I understand, when it comes what it means to have to sit through fucking horrible representation all the time and just, you kind of just get numb to it. You feel what I mean? You feel me? You just have to, like, not even disassociate with it, because you got to accept it. You just got to be like, that's bullshit. Moving on to whatever else in this show, like, I guess. And I can go on and on with examples like that. You feel what I mean? That you may not put too much thought into it, but you feel what I mean? Shows really, a lot of shows in media really show their true colors of based on how, you feel what I mean, they treat the most oppressed people in society on screen, which is black people. Like, even goes to show, man, me and you talked about Mr. Terrific all the time. You feel what I mean? Think about Mr. Terrific on Arrow. Feel me? Arrow in the Arrowverse has all these badass, you feel what I mean, characters, kick-ass characters and everything. When it came time to introduce Mr. Terrific, that they knew was technically on the board in the DC universe was way more hot shit than Arrow. You see how his character turned out. Like, do we even not have to say let's just say he wasn't the Mr. Terrific that we were also used to in the comics for the last like fucking 20 years. But
No, he was smart and tough and well composed and just a totally different character altogether.
Yeah, so and it goes down the line. You feel me? Like, because for there to be a top, there has to be a bottom. That's what people don't really, understand when it comes to the system of racism. You feel what I mean? They just think racism is just a broad ass board, and racism is just people just saying mean words to you or something. Most people have a very childish idea of what racism is. You feel me? Like,
It's usually people who haven't really experienced it much either.
Exactly. Like, but for there to be a top, there has to be a bottom. As they say, as above, so below, all that good shit. You feel me? For there to be people up here for facts saying that they're the shit, there has to be people at the bottom that they can say aren't the shit. You feel me? There has to be a yin to a yang, a comparison. You feel what I mean? Like, you feel me? So then the people in the middle can decide, like, either you can be like them, who are not the shit, who are shit, or you can be like us, who are the shit, and we rule shit. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you get an understanding of why, you feel me, most people lean towards, white people shit, and most people just ignore the fact that black people get shitted on, and you feel what I mean? All the brown people on the planet could take the whole planet if they want to. They outnumber. But you feel what I mean? That's the whole reason. Yeah. It's like, why do that when we can just lean towards them and just move how they move, as they say, you feel me, when in Rome.
Very true.
Like, yeah, you feel me? And you being an Indian dude, you told me that you've asked yourself the question a lot, you feel me? Like, why do people, from foreign countries come over here and, like, they kind of, ignore that truth, And it's simply because they're trying to get on in society. That's really all it is.
They're more concerned with assimilation more.
Exactly. You feel me? The people that were already here, they understand, they see through it. They're not playing that type of game. You feel me? Like, white or black. You feel me? Like, the people that come here, they're trying to assimilate. They're trying to get on. And whether you want to accept it or not, people would think like, oh, assimilating, just becoming, accepting American society is like, nah. Assimilating means getting down with white society, living in their neighborhoods, getting jobs that they work. You feel me? Making the type of money that they make. You feel what I mean? Not associating with your poor ass families back in your foreign country. You feel what I mean? Like, not to be fucked up, but that's how people come when that's how people come when they come to America. Like, dead ass. Like, you feel me? That's how a lot of people come. They ain't coming over here to fucking start no revolution. I can tell you that. So the cycle continues. You feel me? Like. But yeah, but that goes into, you feel me, representation and everything too in film and all that. And people asking themselves like, all right, if there are black people in the industry, you feel what I mean? if there are gay people in the industry, Asian people in the industry, you feel me, and all that, why are we still not getting, you feel me, proper representation, so to speak? You feel me? We're getting inclusivity, but how come we're not getting proper representation up to our snuff and our standards? You feel me? Because we even talked about that in the chat too a little while ago. You were even crowning Marvel about how their representation is awful. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And it really, like I said, it really comes down to, yes, the system of racism. Like, you feel me? That's a big part of it. It's a huge part of it, whether you want to accept it or not, because you actually believe that they want to give you proper representation, and they don't. You feel me? It really takes a select few creatives that are actually working on these films that actually have power to be like, you know what? Perfect example is like Mandalorian or something. Everybody don't like that shit. They don't like to put the Disney Star Wars shit, but for them to just say like, all right, we're just gonna cast Bill Weathers in this shit, no agendas. He's just a good black actor, and then we're just gonna let it ride. Shit like that doesn't happen as much as you think. Like, you know what I mean? When they're putting together this inclusivity and this representation for you, they're already figuring out ways to fucking undercut you. They're already trying to figure out ways to undercut you. Like Kojay said, you feel what I mean? They may put a fucking gay character on TV, you feel what I mean? But that dude probably be fucking mad bitches, probably not gay at all. You feel me? You just act like a gay dude.
Right.
Alright? So it's like, which one would you rather win? A gay dude getting some roles, you feel what I mean? Making money doing whatever role, or just a straight guy just acting like a gay dude? You feel what I mean? Even when it comes... Another perfect example is black characters. When it comes to black characters, there's always some type of, you feel what I mean, undercut, or you feel what I mean, trip bag that comes with it. You feel me? Like, oh yeah, you feel what I mean? Tough ass black character that's like the strength of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You feel what I mean? Oh, but he's gay though. It's like, what? You feel what I mean? Like, or have a black female character in there, but she's the most light skinned black girl they can cast. It's like, all right, I guess we'll have to accept that. You feel me? Then we can't knock the light-skinned girls. You feel what I mean? They're always gonna find a way to fuck up your representation, to fuck up you, because they don't want to give you proper representation. You got to strangle them for that too. It's not just having like, you feel me? If it was up to them, they would just have motherfuckers in fucking blackface representing black people on TV. If motherfuckers was saying shit about it, let's be honest. You feel what I mean? Right or wrong? You're like,
right.
If it was up to them, they would just be telling gay jokes like it was nothing on sitcoms like they used to do back in the day. They would just still be hiring white dudes just to play Asian dudes, and putting them in yellowface.
Oh yeah,
so you have people that gotta understand it's not enough just to have your fucking image up there. You feel me? Somebody that you feel like represents you up there. You feel me? You got to make sure it's being put out the quality craft too at the same time. Because trust me and believe, like it's another thing from a black person's perspective. Like you don't really want that. That feeling of sitting there watching a movie. You feel me? Some westernized movie or whatever, or even some foreign movie, and then it has a person that looks like you doing some bullshit in it, and you can try to play it off all you want. That shit don't feel good. Especially when you feel like it doesn't fucking fit the narrative.
Yeah,
let's be honest. Like especially when you feel like it doesn't fit the narrative of the show or the movie or whatever it is, that shit don't feel good. It don't feel good to be seeing black people on TV acting like oafs and acting like idiots and shit, and doing a black person get hit with a log of wood for laughs and shit. That shit don't feel good. You feel me? Just like back in the day in the early 2000s, I bet for gay people it didn't feel good that every other movie, you feel me, a gay character pop up and the first thing they do is crack on them. I remember that.
Oh yeah,
I remember that time. You feel what I mean? And even back then, I used to think that shit was like kind of fucked up, because like, all right, one joke's okay, two jokes is gay, but I know movies, you feel me? Every time the gay character pop, they just bring in the gay character just to chop them down, and it's like, all right, yeah, you feel what I mean? I feel that. You feel what I mean? So, like people understand what you mean, but it's not a good feeling. You feel what I mean? So you just don't want people up there that look like you're supposed to represent you, and then these motherfuckers get slime thrown on their fucking head. Like dead ass. You want people that look like you and supposed to allegedly represent you, looking good in quality shit. You feel what I mean? Playing quality roles, quality characters, all that shit. You feel what I mean? And Kojay's right when he says that sometimes people overlook it because they never have to experience it, and that even goes for viewership too. You feel what I mean? You have to understand that there are people that sit here and watch that shit that don't experience it. Like, be honest with yourself. So there's mad white people on TV. So you can't blame a white person for not experiencing that, but you also got to look at it from that perspective and break it down too. It's like, yeah, they may not see it how they see it, you see it, because they have so many fucking options to pick from. Whereas, you feel what I mean? The first thing that represents you that pops up matters so much, because you feel what I mean? It can literally make or break the next representation of fucking Asian characters, black characters, gay characters for like the next fucking 2 years, 4 years, 5 years if it pops. Right or wrong. You feel what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they dropped another movie, let's be honest, they dropped another movie of a dude in yellowface, you feel what I mean? And that shit popped and made $1 billion. Say they wouldn't bring that shit back and keep making those movies. And how far would that set back fucking Asian people, you feel what I mean, in Hollywood over here? And they try to play it off like it's representation. Like, oh, well, we're using your culture and it looks like an Asian dude, you feel what I mean? It's like, nah, bro. You feel me? Proper representation matters. So you don't want, you feel what I'm trying to tell you, you don't want characters that represent you on screen on some bullshit. You feel me? They try to say TV is not real, but it's called television programming for a reason. Like, you feel me? Perfect example is, why do you think people be thinking black people are so stupid? It's because in Hollywood for damn near close to 100 years, they've been presenting black people as fucking idiots in movies and TV shows. And then you think people don't take that and believe it?
The clown.
They're not teaching you that in school and all that shit. They're putting that shit on TV. All that shit that all these dumb motherfuckers believe. And then when they drop all that intellectual, pretentious shit, they put even more bullshit in that shit. And you believe that shit too. So I don't really want to hear it. You know what I mean? Because people are, oh, it's not real. And then shit that happens in movies, people put their whole life on that shit. People put their whole life on shit that happens in movies as real philosophy. Say that right or wrong, Kojay?
That's right.
So it's like, come on. Representation matters in that sense when it's proper. You feel what I mean? It doesn't matter when it's just shoehorned in on some bullshit. Now, you feel me? When it's just shoehorned in on some bullshit, that's how they can take advantage of you. You feel me? Because like I said, if it was up to them, they would just have you doing all the most stupidest shit in the world. They would still have fucking black people eating watermelon all the way down to the green part. You feel me? On HD TV. Just for laughs and shit. If motherfuckers, if that's how lowbrow you were trying to come with the representation, if you just want to be on the screen. And that's it. That's my rant's done.
No, there's a lot of truth in there, dog. It's like, because, it kind of brings up another point to me, because I'm feeling, I really don't like, I find Justice League to be racist as fuck, because they nerfed our gay guy to who's representing a straight guy, which is rare, and he can't even fight. He just pushes people around, which I never see Zack SNyder doing that. Zack has always been like empowering with his characters. Even that line where it's like, "Don't be gay," that his father yells at him or says before he's taken off in an emotional scene. That type of comedic timing is not Zack SNyder's style or choice, nor is Zack SNyder homophobic to use that kind of line. That's another thing.
Man,
thrown
nothing
in
about
there
that is Zack SNyder.
Exactly. And then the fact that he's like, I just push people and run away. And all the scenes of because we see Ezra Miller Flash is zipping around, getting behind a parademon and punching him in the back, and then tossing the guy through, whatever. Flash can fight. And the fact that, I feel the reshoots are marketed to the Russians. The Russian government does not like the gay community there. They're really harsh on them. So I could see them going, what is this gay guy being a hero? No, let's make him weak, and then we can accept. That's a theory of mine I have. And then when a fan asked Zack SNyder on Vero, he said if that line when Ezra Miller Flash says, I really don't do combat. I just push people and walk away, right? And the person asked is like, was that yours, Zack? And Zack said something like, what the fuck? Or what the fuck is that? Yeah. Because Zack hasn't even seen that movie. And I respect the artist. So if the artist refuses to see the movie that's claimed to be his, it tells me it's not his. But that goes to the thing that the Justice League did changes to nerf the characters. And also, they took the heart of the story out, which is Cyborg. You know, a black American who is the heart and center of the story, pretty much the Frodo Baggins of the whole saga of that film, and he's just another guy in the team, rolling through. He's just the tech guy, and that's it. And that pissed me off because Cyborg is one of my favorite characters. We know this, and that is super bothersome to me too.
It still bothers me.
It still bothers
Just
me.
knowing
That's what I
that
was
all
saying
that
today.
cyborg footage is just sitting right there, and it's like, wow, y'all really
That,
cut all that shit out. And they even cut out scenes that they really could have left in and actually would have added to the story. And it's like, wow, yeah, really wanted it. I believe, it's like that's why you do have to stop believing the trades and everything. Because the reason why they're really pushing against, you feel me, pushing this fake news stuff and pushing against people believing rumors and leaks and all that stuff is because they know slowly but surely they're getting irrelevant. And a lot of people should have just figured this stuff was true when you saw Justice League and it was literally under 2 hours. Like it wasn't even 2 hours. I'm pretty sure it was like the full runtime for the movie
it
up
was
to
like
the
1 hour
credits.
and 58 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's 1 hour and 58 minutes. So like it's like so it really didn't even go over 2 hours. So you know that shit was true when they said that they put a 2 hour mandate. And if that shit was true, everything else is probably true. That's what I'm saying. You feel what I mean? The product came to you, and what they were saying was true. So you can believe the bullshit. You feel what I mean? The trade is saying, or you can believe. You feel what I mean? The people. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and that final product is the epitome of propaganda.
They ordered some fuck shit. You feel what I mean?
Exactly.
And we can argue whether you feel Josh Whedon had his hands tied or whatever. It doesn't really motherfucking matter because you feel me. You have no kid. Dude has no fucking creative respect, really. You feel what I mean?
No, he doesn't. Have you heard him complain
like,
about?
It'd be different if it was like a more low. I guess Josh Whedon is a low level director, but it's like, dude, for a dude like you to come over there and try to undercut Snyder like that and everything, I would have respected it more if it was a more hungry low level director that. Like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I really need to get on. You feel what I mean? It was like, all right, so they got some whole Smeagol director to fucking fuck over Snyder. Some whole random nigga. I don't know, like Paul W.S. Anderson. Not saying that he would do that. Not saying that he would do that. I repeat that twice. I'm just saying, you feel me? A director that, you feel me? I mean, that's clearly, he ain't up there like that. You feel what I mean? Josh Whedon did just come off them $1 billion films. So for you to do a high level fuck over like that, you feel what I mean? It's like it's like a painter coming in to finish another painter's chapel and shit. Like, oh yeah, y'all don't like how this nigga's doing the chapel? I got you. I'm about to fucking work with the shit he did, paint over his shit, and add some of my own shit. Like what? That's pretty much what you did.
It's like,
and the dude had the whole chapel set up with beautiful paintings of angels and gods and shit. And you feel me? You did some, and you fucked up his shit and added your own bullshit. You feel what I mean? Like, and his shit was done. You feel me? Like,
a freaking masterpiece of its own.
It's not respectable. It's not respectable. No way you try to paint it. So that's the way I see it.
No, it's true. And also, if I forgot which, it was one of his earlier films, but Joss Whedon, I have to look it up. But one of his earlier films didn't do too well, and his reasoning, he didn't even defend it. He just blamed the lighting department. He blamed the cast. He blamed the makeup order. He was just very foul. I was like, whoa. It's like
one of his recent films, you said?
No, older films. Like he has like a not unkind or giving attitude. So I never really liked the guy.
Yeah, because a lot of these Hollywood types are very elitist, especially the ones that you feel what I mean went to college and felt like they earned their way in.
Well, not just that, some just go to school and then not finish, and they still get the good jobs or something like that because they got an in.
But yeah, I'm saying Joss Whedon is one of those guys. That's not Joss Whedon though. Joss Whedon went to college. You feel me? He got it.
He should know better.
Yeah, you feel me? So he got a head start, so to speak. You feel me? Like, so let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they as they say, people fail up in Hollywood in situations like that. So especially through like Whedon, with the connections, of him going to him going to college, and you feel what I mean. He's probably somewhat of a decent student when it came to the film shit. You feel me? He knew some people, so regardless of how if he was making shitty films in the beginning, you feel what I mean. They were always gonna give him more shit to keep working on. Like it's an industry at the end of the day. So
Yeah, and some industries like the people who will do exactly what the corporate wants you to do, the committee wants you to do, and those people they keep around because then they can, they can do what they want, and someone
exactly,
else
that's what
gets a credit
I
or
call
the fall.
fucking ghost directors. That's what I call them, man.
Yes, that's true.
Ghost directors. Marvel be having mad ghost directors. You feel me? Like niggas be ghost directing shit. You feel what I mean? Like, oh, you can just put my name on it, and then fucking the studio directing that shit. That nigga not even really doing shit. Like, really. I hate to say it, but yeah.
Mm. So,
Sometimes, and I don't mean to put down Patty Jenkins, but sometimes I even feel like Snyder ghost directed a good amount of Wonder Woman, like because it's like it had so much of a Snyder vibe, and then even with Wonder Woman 84, it seems so far away from what the first Wonder Woman was that it seems the closer it gets, it looks like that the thing it's missing is that Snyder touch.
yeah, and I saw that music video trailer. I like the music, but I didn't really get a vibe for what the movie was about or any incentive to see it.
Cause it's gonna be.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, let me
you
let me
know.
let me tell you the difference between these movies, these modern superhero movies coming out now, and the ones in the 2000s.
What's up?
They're brighter, and they have less depth. That's the only difference,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the reason why they're just a little bit worse, and they're very close to bland. They're not far away from how they used to make superhero movies in the 2000s, but they pretty much streamlined it even more, where you just get rid of all the depths, and you know how they used to make superhero movies in the 2000s with that darker tint. You feel me? Like as they say, the lower budget. You feel me? I mean, they go with the dark tint to kind of hide the lower budget, and you feel me? The VFX, something that Zack SNyder mastered and made look fucking amazing. You feel what I mean? By the time he came around, but
Mm-hmm.
that's
You're
a
right.
that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, they're pretty much going with that same template. You feel what I mean? All right, generic action you feel what I mean? But they're just making it mad bright. You feel what I mean? With all these colors, so it seems like all this stuff is going like you feel me. It's the modern age now. So now we have HD and everything. The projectors are a little bit better. The camera quality is better. So people just being amazed by all these bright colors and everything, and then they just streamline it as much as possible. So everybody can get something out of it. You feel what I mean? There won't be anything that will conflict you by the end of the film.
Mm-hmm. It's
That's
so
why,
easy to enjoy it. That's why.
yeah, watch Wonder Woman 84. It's like watching a Marvel trailer. It's the same shit. It's like you said, like I don't really know what I'm getting into watching this film, but I guess it does seem like it has a plot.
We
Like it showed
guess.
me,
We
it
guess.
showed me some stuff. Like it showed you, Wonder Woman and Cheetah hanging out. You feel me? It showed you Maxwell Lord have an orgasm or something. It showed you Wonder Woman in a mall, and she was in the White House, and she swung on some lightning. She wore a power suit. What did it really tell you though? You see what I
Nada.
mean? Like it could have told you so much in just those images, and none of those images actually told you anything. You feel me? The actions speak louder than words. Like so even if they were trying to hide the plot, you can't really hide an interesting plot. You feel what I mean? You feel me? Unless you
Uh-oh. Where'd you go? 44? Hey, we're back. We were talking about
hello,
candy and
talking about candy.
sugar flavored Skittles.
No, we were not.
No, we're not. Uh,
I
So
do. Damn, that shit did make me forget what we were talking about, though.
yeah, I kind of want some Skittles now. If you remember, let me know, cause
Oh yeah, we're talking about Wonder Woman 84. So yeah, it's just gonna be
yeah,
streamlined.
that style.
Yeah, so as many it can reach as many people as possible. It's not gonna have really much stakes, and you can tell from the plot that's revealed in the trailer, and they showed a lot of footage in that trailer. So I'm just saying. But even past that, moving on,
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about Ray Porter today, who got a good amount of shine because, of course, he was the one who played Darkseid in Justice League.
Which is wonderful. Nerd Queens and the crew over there at Project Comic Con last year, they said they got to meet him, and he told them some really cool stuff that they cannot share, but they've told us that there's a lot of good stuff, and all these things coming out confirms the things they were hinting. So the legitness is just like on fire.
Oh wow, they know some stuff, and I did not know that.
Yeah, because it sounded like they hinted that there was more of Darkseid in uh, um, Justice League, and they've said this on their podcast. If, I forget which one, but and I can't remember when. But yeah, seeing these things resurface just gives more validation to a lot of things that were said within our little community, our little family, which shows we know some shit. And just by following Zack Snyder is right there. So it's great to see that he's getting some love and he's out there. But I worry that his only access and the only time we'll see him is in the Snyder Cut.
We'll see about that.
Yeah,
But
we'll see. That's my worry.
Snyder
But
revealed today that Snyder and Ray Porter actually said today that Ray Porter actually did motion capture work, and he did he did both. He
mm-hmm.
did VFX and motion capture work. So that is him actually playing Darkseid in the scene and all that. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's the
he said
man.
he did mocap
Mm-hmm.
and ADR. So, and if you look closely, I think at the Darkseid image, it does somewhat resemble Ray Porter. So that's a little interesting nod
Yeah, because if you're doing
because
motion capture and rendering a character and you have the actor's performance there and you want to capture as much of it possible, it's a smart deal to base the character render and model off of whoever's portraying him because you just you could just scan their facial structure and their gestures and then apply it to it so it looks more natural and it feels right.
mm, boom shakalaka.
Mm, I did motion capture once at UCI. It was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they put the
What the fuck is a UCI?
oh at no at University of Irvine. They had an animation department and I was helping one of their instructors create
Wait, you went to college?
yeah.
Oh wow.
I didn't go to UCI though. I was always hired by UCI. Um, I was hired there
Did you
to
finish?
ish. I dropped out to go to Hollywood and do stuff, and then I got on. Then I went back, and then I didn't finish because I went on tour with this one artist for dancing, a short tour. But, anyways, I didn't finish. But I did my certification stuff and all that stuff. But yeah, I went, so I have the experience of being. So yeah,
Oh, I didn't go to college. Fuck college.
it's. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about. No, you can go to college. You can not. Just make something of yourself. It don't matter. Just you got to be responsible to educate yourself. That's what's more important. People go to college and then they just cheat or not pay attention. They don't even get educated. Just because you went to college, I don't believe you're educated. Your
Their daddies will
mannerisms
get
ain't
them good
top.
jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little circle of credibility. That's how
My
they all
daddy
play.
is a Bronco on Wall Street.
My daddy has a nice car, Lamborghini. My daddy has the finest restaurants in all the lands. Like you don't want to be like one of those. But anyways, yeah, motion capture was cool because they put these either nowadays they put dots, but back when I was doing it, it was these tiny little like ping pong balls attached to your limbs, your where your body would bend and move around. And then they put cameras all around the room, and they would pick up the sensors of those balls. So you would wear dark clothing to not get rid of the light because they're just looking at the balls. And then the animator would instruct you to go, okay, make big movement and try not to hide one of the balls. So if you're crouching and then the ball on your stomach is not seen by the cameras, then the animator has to go in there and fix that missing part. And then everything stayed there. So everything's, I mean,
Mm.
nowadays it's probably way more advanced in technology. I don't even see balls on people anymore. It's just, stop it, Jeff. I hear you. But I see people have like little dots on them and stuff. So it's gotten way more sophisticated over the years. And since I did that, that was like back what, 2010? But anyways, forgot I was going with that. But yeah, the CG effects, you could like put a character in, take a character out, and once you have all that modeling and that rendering down, it's just like making a video game. And they even did it. They put that Green Lantern into it. Zack Snyder said that Green Lantern was not his in the history lesson. And it's easy to
Mm.
probably mask Uxas movements, keep that movement in there from the mocap, and then just copy paste Steppenwolf over it. And then they get rid of
Yeah,
Darkseid that way. And I'm very confident that's what they did.
yeah, that makes sense actually. And I actually posted a close-up image of Darkseid to Ray Porter, and I said it looks like you, and he
Yeah.
liked it.
Yep.
Okay, it does look like him, so
Hell yeah, bro.
I think there's a very high, strong, super duper strong chance that when we see this film, we may be looking in the eyes of Ray Porter.
Hmm. Now,
Will Darkseid look more like Ray Porter in the face than we even think? You know, he does seem like he has those sharp, beady eyes too.
well, an interesting thing Nerd Queen said is that Ray Porter can do the dark side voice with no digital filter or any voice box or any after effect. He just does it, and then they keep it that way.
So he can do the Darkseid voice as we know it today.
Mm-hmm.
Or you
According to
feel me?
Nerd
Like the
Queens, yeah.
class? Is it like the classic voice, or is it more like the modern voice that people are more used to in like Or I guess a better breakdown, I should say, does it lean more towards the classic voice from the animated series type shows and movies, or does it lean towards more, you feel what I mean, the new movies in the modern age?
I'm thinking new movies, but I haven't heard it, so we'd have to talk to Nerd Queens about that.
That's interesting
Mm-hmm. But they said it was
because
bassy
the voice
and
is
creepy.
interesting is because with that, even though we've seen so much of him, we really don't know his take until we hear him fucking talk. You feel me? Like so,
Right.
he could be more of the laid back dark side. You know, that was kind of like I said from the animated series shows like Superman and Justice League and all that. But he can
I
also
think with
be
like
kind of
Michael
lean towards that.
Ironside, he was voicing Darkseid a bit.
Was that the dude doing it in Superman,
And I think it was Michael
the
Ironside.
animated series?
Yeah, he definitely did Darkseid a few times. I'm very sure. I think it was Michael Ironside. And then one version was that guy from Reno 911, the guy who was in Glory. Uh, I'm forgetting his name, but he did a really good Darkseid for Batman, Superman, Apocalypse, the one with Supergirl.
Oh wow,
I liked his voice a lot.
this should be interesting.
Yeah, so this would be really
So
interesting.
because a lot of people did say that they brought on he is a voice actor and everything too, a pretty good
Hmm.
one from what
And
they
usually voice
from
actors are theatrically trained, which makes sense why he would be great for motion capture because theater actors they know uh, stage combat. And stage combat is a lot different from martial arts and pro wrestling and stunt work. It's more Circus Olay like. Their gestures are big, so the cameras would love to pick that up for mocap, and dramatic because he could put his emotions into it too. So it's not uncommon you'll see voice actors who have theatrically trained skills either from the theater or just goes along with the ballpark of the jobs they do. So that would be
Mm.
really cool. That would make sense. I don't know his resume, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a lot of, extra skills on there. Because usually you do. You need jobs in this crazy Hollywood world.
I'm looking at this picture of Darkseid right now, and it seems to be a guy in the left corner with the helmet with two horns going up. Can't really make out who's on the right. Looks like some weapons and some
Yeah, that dude
silhouettes
on the
and
left
shoulders of a
looks like
few
a samurai
warriors.
of some sort. I'm wondering.
He looks like he has a hatchet on his back.
Mm.
Then there's a guy that's down. So it seems like Darkseid just took that dude out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's hella parademons. I mean, like there's hella parademons behind him. You can see the doorway. We'll probably use this image as
Oh, we are
the
using this image.
podcast. And,
I'm
yeah,
pretty
of
sure we
course.
have to. Yeah.
So there's the doorway, and like I said, there's hella parademons. You can't really get a good look at them, but from what you see of them, they're definitely fully made parademons. They have the silhouettes of the parademons that we've obviously seen up close, and they look like they're ready to throw down. And they may have most of them like they have weapons. They're completely armored. You know, the ground is white. I assume that's definitely where the lava was supposed to be, and is. So
Mm. I
this
like it.
image can end up actually looking even better than when we actually see it ourselves.
Yeah, because I think he's only allowed to show if he shows an image for maybe copyright or spoiler, since it has to be in black and white. And I think any other things that haven't been seen, he can only show, and I would too, just show the storyboard or the concept art of it. You know what I mean? It's just to preserve that first experience and or anything that's copywritten issues or something.
Yeah, because it is a good shot though because it's definitely dark side. It's those eyes. And
Mm-hmm.
from a distance, it catches you in a very cool way.
Mm-hmm. And in Man of Steel behind the scenes, they've shown how they actually use CGI animations, like really cheap, like Crash Dummy 1992 computer graphics, but it's used as making quick storyboards sometimes, and storyboards in motion. So you'll see a lot of times if they're doing a 3D model rendering of a character, they're like, well, shoot, we have this character. Why don't we just use it to set up some shots and make some storyboards? And people are like, all right, we'll do some of that too. Which is what I think is the majority of what Zach is sharing of that style when we do see that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Hmm.
Well said, Kojay.
So cool. Another thing happened today was Crisis. I don't know if that show is over yet, but I see each episode when it's like after it posts because I just watch on Amazon. And uh, Ezra Miller Flash, Snyder Cut Flash, makes an appearance in it, facing Grant Gustin Flash. That also went down.
Yeah,
That
it
is
did. It was. It
interesting.
was. It was interesting. It seemed like it was a one-off, though.
I think they
I
can
mean,
only
past that
afford to
happened
do
with that.
that because even with I forgot his name, but he was the dude who was always kicking with Vicky Vale. He's a friend zoned and he really wanted Vicky Vale in that first Batman Tim Burton movie. and he was in the first episode of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and just to resemble that universe of Batman. And I'm thinking, well, that was huge, but with how huge it is, I think that's the only cameo we'll see of that character. I think they can
Yeah,
only afford cameos. I mean, I have to see the rest of the episode. If
I
we
think
see
that was
Ezra
probably the
Miller,
best
yeah,
cameo that they could probably get to even throw in for the to represent the Burton universe.
hell yeah, that was a good one.
They weren't about to get Michael Keaton in there standing around doing nonsense.
No, if they
Or,
did
or
that just for like 5 seconds, they go broke. I don't know if
and
they
who
could
played
hire
Catwoman or Michelle Pfeiffer
Michelle
or
Pfeiffer in that
Raven?
one.
Yeah, I don't even think Danny DeVito would have did that.
Nah, he's busy on Always Sunny, I think.
He's like, I ain't doing that bullshit. One
But
thing I definitely didn't
yeah,
like about it, it seems like it definitely seems like it's Justice League Flash, and
that's
it
what I'm worried
and
about.
it looks like he got his name from the CW Flash, which is even more lame. So,
Yeah,
but
because he's like, Flash. I never heard that. Flash.
I
Flash.
also do think that Zack Snyder had to have known about this because he's seen Ezra Miller recently. It probably spoke to him, so I don't think it was
Oh, yeah, they're
that much of a
homies.
secret.
No, no. Which is why I think Zack didn't post during Infinite Crisis, just out of respect. Because as soon as that moment dropped, he posted something,
Yeah,
you know? And I think, and I'm analyzing in my mind that for Warner Brothers to release the Snyder Cut with all the hype that it has, they would not want to release it at a time that would jeopardize the hype of something that they need. Like let's say they don't want to kill the hype for Birds of Prey. They don't want to kill the hype for Crisis. They don't want to kill the hype for Wonder Woman 84. So I'm thinking the most logical way to release the Snyder Cut would be at a moment or a quiet zone or something where they could attack, steal thunder from their rivals. It would have to be a nice spot, long 2020 to release that won't steal any thunder of something and might even help pick up thunder for something else. That's the best timing that they could do, and whatever they have planned in their schedule of importance, I think will determine when they release the Snyder Cut.
yeah, I could have to agree. I
Cause
also think though that we might have to accept that HBO Max might be the window. You know that might be the plan or the best plan. That obviously by the day we're getting closer to HD WB ranking pushing up there.
mm-hmm.
Their streaming service and all that, and then people in the movement are probably going to start putting more focus on WB when it gets closer to that. But I do think that no, that could be our best bet, but that could be the window right there. Where we could get unlimited release, and that could end up to leading it to go straight to streaming on HBO Max, and then that'll be that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that won't be that, but
Yeah, I mean they're
we'll
15
see.
bucks a
We'll see what
month.
happens after
Oof,
that.
exactly. And I
And
hope
bring
so
back Zach.
because sheesh, we need that movie, man. It feels like I'm in prison and they said, "Well, you're going to get out." I'm like, "When?" And then they're just quiet. I'm like, "Well, fuck." That's what it feels like,
Wow,
dog. So
I
I'm
do
like,
feel you.
so yeah, the Ezra Miller Flash I love seeing, but uh,
It was a good moment for everyone who's hyped to see
e
Ezra Miller as Flash again. See, for a little while there, you don't have to worry about it. As for the ramifications for the Snyderverse, we don't know what this means, but it doesn't. It's not looking too good, in my opinion.
really,
But
I
the
think it could go
crossover
either
is
way.
over. They didn't
Yeah,
do it. They didn't do anything, out of the ordinary with the character, or they didn't seem like they did anything that affected the character. I watched the clip of, I guess, was the end of Crisis because I didn't watch it, but I watched the clip of the end of Crisis, and it seemed like they showed some other, CW cross, CW multiverse worlds. It seemed like they showed Oa from Green Lantern. I think maybe the movie, but I'm thinking that's probably a little teaser of the Green Lantern show coming up.
Ooh, I remember Green Lantern movie pretty well. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
verify that. I'll check it out.
other than that, they didn't show anything of the Snyderverse from what I've seen in that little clip. The only thing that they showed was Ezra Miller. He
Mm-hmm.
so makes a quick appearance. I guess he kind of makes fun of the Flash and then he leaves.
He did call Grant Gustin's Flash cosplay. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, hmm. So, yeah, I take it as an interesting win because in a way it's almost like testing the waters.
Testing the one.
Yeah, like you put the Flash there, Ezra Miller Flash, see what the buzz is. But the problem, my only concern is the Justice League vibe, and that it's more of on Jeff Johns' turf. So I'm wondering if he's still, you know, dicking around doing his tapeworm bullshit.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's the only concerning thing. Anything I see that's like hint of the narrative that was against Zack Snyder and put us in this situation, did all this malpractice and all this uh, this propaganda, this racism, this like self promotion, power trip bullshit reset. Anything that I see a little bit of that, I'm very cautious and it gives me a bad taste in my mouth. Only because they haven't released a Snyder Cut. If they release a Snyder Cut, I'll be like, shoot, do whichever you want, man. I'm good. You gave me something, and I'm happy. Now we can y'all do whatever you want to do. Artistic integrity, express yourself. But when I see these things come out and our Snyder Cut is still not released, I'm in question. I was like, oh wow, you guys are still hating on us? What's going on? Why are we being punished? You guys aren't treating us. What the hell? You know?
Yeah, I feel you. We do need that damn Snyder cut.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for this episode.
Now there is
What else you got?
one more thing. The question of who could possibly be at Darkseid's feet in the image.
Darkseid's
And
feet in
there's
image.
also a mention from Snyder about Carlos Digital asked Snyder, do they travel with ships through the boom tube? And
Oh, you gotta let me know this. I did
Snyder
not see this.
Snyder Snyder says to Carlos, it's in quotations, quote, "We do it the old way. Ready the Armada." And there's some type of emoji here that I can't see. I wish I can see because it'll probably give it a little bit of an emphasis on to the emotion. But it seems like Snyder's talking about them readying some type of Armada, where he doesn't really want to give it away to Carlos of what exactly he means. But we talked about it for a second, and I said to him, and I said I think he's referencing an invasion of Earth that would require travel through space on ships. And then Carlos says, "Yep, for some reason maybe they're skipping the tube, maybe." And I said they could be. I don't see an entire armada fitting through a boom tube. It would be cool though, but I also would be like light speed and Star Wars. And I was like, what I think is instead Darkseid and his children are going to travel through the boom tube directly. He decides to invade Earth with his armies. So
Mmm.
there's a possibility of that, but this is the first time of us hearing about an armada. That we don't really know who's saying this. So it could be, if we're going to talk about it the old way, then this could be Darkseid saying this. Maybe towards the end of the film. We never know,
Mmm.
but we shall see.
You'll be
But
best in
keep that
2020.
in mind, guys.
Will
Well,
do.
actually, he says could be a cliffhanger quote.
Hey, I'm cool with cliffhangers.
I think he gave me something big here, but yeah. So
Mmm.
Could be a cliffhanger quote. So we could save this one. Remember that. We do it the old way. Ready the Armada. I guess that might be something you can put in the title or something. Sounds cool.
Ready the Armada.
And other than that, of
Yeah, I
course,
guess this.
Snyder says never lose hope. And we talked about the P. Oh yeah, did we say how did we talked about that actually? Yep. And
Uh,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
hey, Snyder replied to me with a bunch of flexing arms. That just made me happy because it's like keep staying strong.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I thanked him for the picture and I was like, cool. Now I'm gonna be looking at the ceiling again, just wondering what the hell happened. Something like that, right? And then he just gave me a bunch of flexing arm emojis. So I was like, ah, cool. Because
And it says
I
Snyder
like stay
also
strong.
said how the history lesson. Someone named Jude AD asked Snyder, is the history lesson as long as the Man of Steel Krypton scene 17 minutes, or was it a little shorter, or is it possible to answer? It's a good chunk. So that's what also
Ooh.
made me think and I'm not going to say his name, but I also got into a debate with this guy who's not, who I'm not going to mention over this too, over the possibility of the history lesson taking place maybe in the beginning, like we start the film maybe with that, and then
Kind
we
of
we
like how
pick back
Wonder Woman
up.
did. Wonder Woman
Yeah, then
2009.
we yeah we pick back up on it later on in the film where they have a they where Wonder Woman obviously when Batman has the flashback moment where she tells Batman, and then they kind of have a flashback moment of what we already seen. You know what I mean from the beginning of the film. So, but
Mm.
Batman's kind of reliving it and understanding it from her perspective, but we already watched it earlier in the movie. That could be a thing that's going on here, where the history lesson could open up the movie because it, unless Snyder's really gonna have like a whole close to 20 minute, flashback scene in the middle of hanging dialogue, which is possible, but
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not sure if that's him. His little narrative stories are really either you're there and you hear the person talk about it, or if they show you it, it's really brief and quick. Just like how Zod was telling the story is like, we searched a sea of stars, but all we found was death, that stuff. Um, it would be very conversational and in the pace of it. I feel like, because BVS opened with the flashback dream sequence. Man of Steel, in a way, people could argue that opened up with a flashback sequence
yeah, it was a
because,
flashback.
and then yeah, and then so the third one would make sense to open up in the same manner because he's very
With
he's
a
very
flashback.
George Lucas in his ways. He likes rhyme and reason and poetry, kind of stuff to mirror and have meaning. So that's something I believe is probably, and I kind of always said too that it's somewhere in the beginning. I feel and it would be a cool way to open up. You just see this battle, like, whoa, what's going on? What's this movie about? And then you see the threat of the enemy, the stakes of what it would be if we lost to that, and then present time, and then the new adventure. And you're like, oh shit, that danger's coming here. Oh crap, you know.
Yeah, I feel you. Did you know SnyderCut.com has a Twitter handle?
SnyderCut.com has a Twitter handle. Is it? It's not RT SnyderCut, is it?
I don't think so. I think it had this. I think maybe it's its own website. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a SnyderCut.com website, but there's also one where some dudes bought some name of Snyder Cut or something. But there is the Snyder Cut homepage too. I thought you were talking about the homepage.
Yeah, I just ran into it right now, but
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay. Huh,
who
interesting.
knows?
Gotta check that out later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see what's going
nowadays, who
on with
knows?
that.
Because there's some people who follow me, they're like, Snyder Cut, I'm for Snyder, and then all this, and then I'm like,
So yeah, I guess people are happy to see the dark side and the Ezra on CW, and a lot of people are saying that we can just officially put the rest that Ezra has a better suit, and we can just end it with that. And they're right, Ezra does have the better suit. Ezra's suit is way more badass, and you
it's
know,
also practical.
yeah. I do like the line that they said to each other was kind of comical when it was like, "Oh, so smooth," and I was like, "Y'all are so stupid." Like, I was like, "All right."
But I thought it was good too because I thought as Grant Gustin threw a bunch of shade at Ezra Miller's Flash because they didn't use him. I remember seeing a reaction video Grant Gustin had, and he was just kind of disappointed at the thing. I was like, huh,
Yeah,
that's a little
and
negative.
for
So it's kind of
for
cool to see
people,
two, yeah, but it's kind of cool to see two actors who, I definitely know Ezra Miller loves the Flash. Like when you hear him talk, I don't know, off camera and in interviews about Flash, he's so psyched, and he loves it. And Grant Gustin obviously is absorbed the character as his own in his own way, of course. And it's kind of cool to see two guys who are Flash, who just not only are Flash, but they love being Flash. So that was kind of nice.
it was all right. It was all right, but
I'm more kawaii than you, man. It was beautiful.
for those who might be worried that Zack Snyder could be showing too much, um, someone asked him, Tiago Opie asked him on Twitter, most people say you are showing the whole story. I believe we haven't seen anything yet. And Zack Snyder replies to him and says, so much more. So there's
Oh,
so much more for us to see, my friends. And I'm pretty sure we could have all assumed that because it is a 3.5 hour film, but so
yeah.
much more.
One frame could be less than 1 second of all them 214 minutes. So
I
that's a
remember when I was
lot.
using this Abby.
Psh, you're too kind.
But yeah, that's a lot. It
That
is.
is a lot. That's a lot of quality. It's like freaking Costco with superheroes. It's like, dang, we're getting a good deal here. And then
And
and then you go to Justice League. It's like something you buy at the movie theater. It's so less for so much more you're wasting money on. You're like, fuck.
yeah, and it is something that it's definitely gonna build more buzz. And I think we were trending at like 10,000 tweets today
Dang,
from what I saw.
nice.
I saw someone post a picture of it. Could have grabbed it. So yeah, I think we did a little natural trend there.
Mm-hmm. At least Warner Brothers is using some AI because the AI won't miss that.
So for those who've been holding on to this ride, hopefully we'll be there soon.
Yeah, and hope. I had a dude. I didn't have a dude. This guy on Twitter. He replied or he shared one of my things about the Snyder Cut when I showed the Grant Gustin or I forget. It was one of the either the Flash or Darkseid. I shared it or whatever on Twitter. And dude says he's like, man, this hope is. I'm tired of it. It's boring and I'm done with it. Like, or it seemed like they were just saying the hope is pretentious and just boring. And then I just said, yo, if you find hope to be boring, then it's probably not your hope to begin with. And I didn't say it in a
Mm,
malicious way. It's just that if someone can't uh, feel compassion or feel the hype of something so many people are hoping for, then it just means that they have no connection to it, and that's either not bad or good. It could also just be no connection at all, or ignorant even. It's kind of like let's say someone's all for uh, let's go like 100 years ago or whatever. Some people are like, dang, I'm really hoping for like some like the Emancipation Proclamation to happen, and then you get like someone who owns slaves is like, I can see they want it, but I don't get it. Whatever. You know, it's like so foreign to them that they're either bored or against it, just because they don't get it. And then they're just like, huh. There's this like numbness or this negativity that follows. And I'm thinking, if there's people who want hope, let them have their hope. Don't shit on it.
The
Or
blind and the
don't even
ignorant,
stress
as
to
they
find it.
say.
Hmm?
Yeah, the blind and the ignorant.
Mm, I guess that is, huh? So yeah, y'all gotta have hope, because Zack is giving us hope, and he's not giving us hope without a destination planned for us. So we just gotta keep fighting for it and keep the hype alive, because we gotta convince these people who are disbelievers, and I say these people as in like those who are holding the Snyder Cut hostage, to release it. And that's plain and simple.
Mm. Well said, Kojay. Well
Thank you, B.
said.
Cool.
Now, motherfuckers won't be able to bitch for a while because you got a whole dark side image.
Yeah, people stress out after a while when Zack is silent.
That
People
that
get
that
a little
Aquaman
doubtful.
and the Aquaman and Wonder Woman image wasn't enough crack for them. That's why. And I go, that's not strong enough. I need something, something
I'm
I
gonna
never
eat.
felt before.
I'm gonna eat people. Ugh. I don't know.
That
That
dark
was
that
enough to
dark
hold me
side
over.
image dropped. Yeah, they know. People
Hmm.
they about to cut that shit like 100 times. Put
Yeah.
that shit, put that shit up for a rainy day like a squirrel.
Yeah. Dang.
Niggas gonna save that image on their phone and only look at it for a second, not the road. Like, oh, dark side. I can't.
Which is.
Uh, I can't look at it for too long. Have an overdose. Some of that crack.
Hey, we gotta give props to you, because you were the one who mentioned in our circles that you were like, hey, I think Zach's gonna drop something soon, and it makes sense too, because a few days ago we were like, Ray Porter is our dark side during the Ava like posted something or whatever. So that dark side before this, dark side was on topic for a while, and Ray Porter
Yeah.
too. So to see Zach drop a dark side, it's one of those things that tells me, and Zach is watching a lot of stuff on social media. He's not a fool. He's smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. He's smarter than me, and he's watching a lot of stuff. He knows what's up, and I think that the timing of it also proves that too.
Yeah, I do too. I think his post that Ava got like over 1,000 likes and a good amount of retweets and everything. So
Hmm.
it got up there. So and I have to before let me check his dark side image too, 'cause that has to be up there by now.
Do 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 do.
But yeah, the Ray Porter definitely did like my tweet though. That's great. Yeah, that's just
Hell yeah!
almost at 532 retweets.
Wow!
1,794 likes.
Wow!
They shouldn't definitely need to get this to like 1,000 retweets or more.
Dang. See, there you go. Snyder Cut. Bam. It's money.
Yeah, it's money right there.
Hmm. And you wonder
But
why
yeah,
Warner Brothers doesn't see much Oscar nominations? It's because they need to wake up.
Warner Brothers got some Oscar nominations.
They-
Disney's the one who fucked up actually.
Yeah, I don't think Disney even cares. I think they're on their own path. But I think Warner Bros.
Nah,
Would get a lot
Disney
more
cares.
if they did.
They're gonna try to do. They're gonna try to switch it up in like the next year or two, but they do care because Disney doesn't want to be known as the mediocre studio that just makes popcorn flicks and he filming has no prestige films under his belt. That's what no studio wants.
Mm-hmm.
Studios thrive off their prestige films that that they can throw into the zeitgeist and say that they contributed to culture, they
Yep.
contributed to American culture, So
Very true.
Disney can only push the mediocrity for so long before they have to actually start make one at least one good film.
So true.
But they also have Fox for that too, so
Now they do.
at the
Yeah,
same
that's right.
time, at the same time, they don't even really have to go out their way doing it.
No, Fox is now their biggest version of Miramax.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what you doing for the rest of the night, man?
I think I'm gonna be cutting this up in laundry, and then I think I'm gonna try a different video game, Outwards.
Oh, I feel you.
I'll try that game, see how that is.
Is it Outworlds?
Outwards.
Outwards.
I'll show you. I'll send you links. I'll show you what it's like. But yeah, I think I'll do that.
All right, man.
All right,
Yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep.
All right. You have a good night, brother, and everyone. Stay good out there and release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, peace, man.
Like.
Take care and goodbye to everyone.
All right.